Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, where the topic is In It Together, our free OnePlan solution for reprioritization of initiatives in a rapidly changing world. My name is Doug Welsby, and I'm the channel manager here at Wicresoft. I'm also joined by my colleague, Jim Patterson, our director of sales. During today's webinar, attendees will be on mute and the line will not be open for questions. However, feel free to use the GoToWebinar question feature to submit questions. I'll address these questions during the webinar and will respond via email if we do not get to your specific question. If for some reason you get distracted or pulled away from the webinar, no need to worry, as I will be emailing a link to the presentation once it has been posted to our YouTube channel. I'll now turn the presentation over to Jim.
Thank you, Doug. Welcome, everybody. My name is Jim Patterson. Happy to be presenting here today, and we're excited to share with you the details of an offer that Wicresoft is making with their OnePlan solution to help our organizations that we deal with, customers and prospective customers alike. And it really revolves around our OnePlan solution and thinking being that organizations can benefit at these challenging times from the capabilities that's in it. So what we're going to cover today as far as topics is, why we are doing this, what is the specifics of the offer and how it can help you, what is exactly included in this offer, and then Doug will take back the reins and do a demonstration of the capabilities so you can see them in action live. We'll then summarize a bit at the end and then give you some instructions on how to get started. And as Doug had mentioned, we'll be sending you the details from the slide deck as well as links to how to get to the areas that we're going to be talking about here today for you to get started. So with that, why are we doing this? I mean, the graphic kind of is very telling in the fact that even before we had this pandemic in our faces, we are now in a transformative, rapidly changing, rapid pace of change world. And so major disruptions and adjustments are caused by not only the current pandemic, but I think just the landscape we have in general. And I think the pandemic has just exacerbated some of those things and highlighted those things even more. Now, given what we're facing now and some uncertainties of when we'll get back to normal and what that's going to look like at the end of all the sheltering at home and sheltering in place and suspensions of non-essential businesses, our customers and others will be faced with the prospect of needing to rethink and reprioritize based on the new realities, understanding maybe what new budgets, what new priorities that we have, and be able to figure out what we can tackle given those constraints and given those parameters that we're facing. To that end, Wicresoft has been in this space a long time, and we have a long-standing commitment to the project portfolio and just overall work management marketplace out there, both from a services and from a solutions perspective. And there's a lot of folks out there trying to see how we can help. And we were really thinking long and hard about this. And we were partially inspired by our primary partner and joint venture partner, Microsoft, and the offer that they made for remote access with providing free access to Microsoft Teams so that people can actually work better and communicate and have meetings remotely. So we were grappling with how do we want to offer assistance in a useful way, but one that's also relevant and adds value to the folks out there that we deal with on a regular basis in this marketplace. And we determined that our OnePlan solution provides capabilities that could help many. And, we do market it. We typically sell it. And we decided there was some aspects of that we can offer as a free offer during this critical time for people. So that's the genesis and the motivations behind this. So what exactly is the offer? Well, we are offering for folks our OnePlan Portfolio Plan edition that allows people to leverage a pre-configured solution. So largely it is pre-configured so that people can get in and start working with it very quickly. There is the ability to configure and tailor it some very easily to make things a little bit more particular to you with things like nomenclature and names and values and things like that. But it really is designed as a platform to gather information, track status, and collaborate and prioritize your initiatives. Some folks might call them projects, some might call them initiatives or epics. And the idea here is to be able to assess where those are at, the details around them, and then decide which ones we want to tackle, when we want to tackle them, and potentially track how they're doing as we execute on them. One thing about this portfolio plan edition that we're offering here is that it integrates with Microsoft Teams, and the fact that as you're collaborating with that, whether you're a long-time user of Teams or just getting started because of the free offer from Microsoft, that user experience for your collaboration, for meetings and calls and conversation threads and content, OnePlan can be part of the user experience right within there as you collaborate on these initiatives. Also, this edition comes with a free add-in that integrates with Microsoft Project. So if you have folks that are using Microsoft Project on the desktop, which is a robust standalone project planning and scheduling tool, it will actually seamlessly integrate and publish that data to your portfolio plan edition of OnePlan, so that you can actually use that execution data as part of your analysis and your tracking and your reporting. Now, we'll get into a little more details about what's in here, but the use of this portfolio plan edition, what we're giving away, and this is not just a limited trial edition, this is the full portfolio plan edition that we'll be offering for folks to use for free until the end of this calendar year, December 31st, 2020. Full capabilities, and while we're in this mode of having to reprioritize and rethink these things, there'll be value to going through that exercise as we come out of this, hopefully sooner rather than later, and start moving back into recovering and from all of this. So what's included? What kind of capabilities at a high level? I'm not going to steal Doug's thunder as far as the things that he's going to demonstrate today, but things that's included is the ability to do project intake management, be able to easily capture, prospective requests or ideas, build those out through a certain state, and then promote them to initiatives or projects at the appropriate time. Strategic planning and then realizing that strategy is be able to take these high-level missions and objectives that you have and then translate those into specific investments or initiatives that will make that strategy across that department real. The idea is to be able to then turn those things into executable pieces that support the strategies that have been identified. Program management. A lot of these things in the transformational age are larger scale programs that have a number of different initiatives and or projects that support those programs. Being able to look at those individually or in the collective from a program perspective is things that people want to be able to do. And then investment prioritization. As we look at this whole roster of things that we would like to do and things that we have in flight, be able to rank and analyze those by business drivers or scoring or whatever it might be, and be able to create an optimized portfolio based upon our ability to apply resources and funding towards those. Now, in a modern age when we're going to more agile approaches, being able to look at your portfolio in more of a Kanban board type of approach and then be able to prioritize and move things around and status those things and organize them in a more graphical card-based user experience, that's a capability and an option that you have. As opposed to some of the more traditional ways that we have in PPM solutions. Be able to have portfolio roadmaps, especially for product-oriented types of organizations that want to be able to look at roadmaps via swim lanes and different flexible ways to do those things. And then work collaboration. If you want to get down to where you want to actually track the execution piece, key phases, milestones, et cetera, empower the teams to be able to do those things either at a high level with simple task-based plans, or connect them to a robust, detailed scheduling tool like Microsoft Project and have that information reflected in the PPM tool or OnePlan environment. Provides the ability in a cloud-based, web-based solution for all users to get in and collaborate on those things rather than have those things stuck on your desktop within a desktop application like Excel or Microsoft Project. And then, as I had mentioned before, being able to do this within Microsoft Teams just extends that capability by making teams that hub of overall collaboration, but having the portfolio management and the execution of that portfolio and the tracking of that portfolio visible and accessible right from within that collaborative hub. So what do we have? We have the ability to drive enterprise-wide strategy. And the idea here is to be able to manage and prioritize portfolios of initiatives using different approaches or methodologies. Just some that you can do, and there's hybrids of these, but more traditional PPM approaches that are more of a grid or Gantt type metaphor for actually approaching these types of things. Or a scaled agile approach where people are using Kanban boards to prioritize and slot things in buckets the way they would like to. And then the more product or road mapping approach is available to you as well, and Doug will be showing you these things live. On the road mapping piece, these are dynamic roadmap views for more product-oriented type of operations typically, but technology-driven folks are doing this as well. And the idea to look at your data in terms of timelines with swim lanes based on different categorizations or groupings, but have it based on live data rather than having these static pictures that people are often doing in PowerPoints and things like that today that may not be really tied to what's really going on the execution side of this. And be able to just flexibly group and filter this information the way you would like to, and then on demand be able to dynamically drill down into the details on one of these, any one of these elements that are in your roadmap. And the portfolio boards, to be able to visually manage a portfolio. Sometimes people are used to seeing these as detailed execution tools where people are managing tasks and user stories in an agile perspective, but be able to do this at a portfolio level is powerful. Supporting agile approaches, multiple groupings in swim lanes by different parameters, whether it be things like by your strategies or your programs or your teams, and then have dependency strings so you can see how these things are interrelated with one another as we work with them. And then be able to just drag and drop to go into different prioritization buckets and update statuses and those types of things, all in a graphical mode. And then ultimately, you're going to have to do some type of prioritization as you're sorting through the challenges that we mentioned at the outset. If you prioritize using a variety of valuation, scoring, and forced ranking methods, OnePlan Portfolio Plan Edition can support all of that. There's configurable views and perspectives that you can take. You can align with strategies, and programs, and portfolios. Flexible calculated scoring, so if you have your own scoring methodologies that you'd like to replicate in here, those are easily modeled in here. But the idea is instead of doing it in a fragile spreadsheet, it's really based on a database repository and all interrelated with the rest of the solution rather than separate and distinct from everything else that you're doing. And on top of that, you can do selection and drag and drop ordering of these things from a prioritization perspective on top of whatever automated calculations for ranking that you're doing. And then the work collaboration. We talked about create execution plans for your initiatives, and right on board you can do simple task planning in this edition of OnePlan to be able to outline those things that need to be accomplished at a high level, or you can leverage the built-in and free integration with Microsoft Project that's included with this offer. You can look at your plans in OnePlan from either a simple grid or table format or into a board, much like at the portfolio level, so in a more Kanban style, or even in a scheduler type of view that actually focuses on the resources you might have assigned to those types of things. And then you can actually collaboratively assign work to people and have them provide updates online for you so that the team members that get assigned those things can feed back to who's managing this initiative or project, what it is that's been accomplished so that we have a closed loop process for assigning things out and getting feedback and updates. And then powerful reporting with pre-configured reports. Internally within OnePlan in this edition, there is a status report function that is built right into OnePlan, and you can configure those status reports. But it also has a native feed that can leverage the rich capabilities of Power BI. Being that we are built for the Microsoft Cloud and easily just inserted into your Office 365 or Power Platform environment, it also leverages the rich capabilities of Power BI. And we have report packs that are built specifically for this application that can leverage that right within Power BI. So it's easy to get started with that if you're using those technologies already. So with that, Not to steal any more of Doug's thunder, I'll let Doug move on and give you a demonstration of how these capabilities work in action. And then after that, we'll give you some information on how you can get started. Take it away, Doug.
Thanks, Jim. I'll just double check that you can see my screens as I'm presenting.
Let me check. Yes, I can.
Great, thank you. All right, everyone. So this afternoon, I will walk you through a configuration of our OnePlan solution, this free version, in it together version, as we're calling it, to illustrate for you how you can use the solution for, as Jim's described, portfolio planning and decision making as you're reprioritizing items and projects and work that's underway within your organization. How you can do work planning with the solution. We include status reporting and Power BI reporting within the tool as well. Now, during the demo this afternoon, I'll be walking you through how to use OnePlan integrated with Microsoft Teams. And of course, Teams is a very popular solution. Lots of organizations are moving to using Teams for Teams meetings, for collaboration, for integration of various organizational units that are working on different objectives and priorities and programs. Our OnePlan solution, though, however, is also available as a standalone solution. So don't worry if you're not on Teams, if Teams is not deployed within your organization yet, you can still access the exact same solution that I'll be showing you today inside of a Teams environment as a standalone approach and a standalone solution for addressing your portfolio and prioritization needs. So within Teams, of course, if we've set up, as an example here, a strategic portfolio planning team, of course, we can make use of the power of Teams for accessing, for example, files, posting and chat and channels, wikis, etc. And then our OnePlan solutions available, as I'm showing here, directly integrated with the Teams environment. And you can push that out to a full screen view to allow you to see more information about the OnePlan solution, again, directly within this Teams environment. So we have very comprehensive reporting available with the OnePlan solution right out of the box. We'll show you Power BI later in the demonstration, but I want to spend some time just looking at the portfolio plan aspect of the solution, which is included with this In It Together release. And here we have a number of different ways of visualizing the data, the programs and plans, and the information that you're gathering about those plans within this portfolio plan view. It's very flexible, and you have self-service business intelligence or self-service reporting available for your users within these views as well. No need to go to the project management office to make some changes to these views. Users can very easily make changes and reorganize the information on screen directly within this interface. So let me show you how that works. One of the first things I might do if I'm using this list view is decide that I want to add some additional columns or remove some information from this view. So maybe I'll remove this effort health view or information column, and I'll add priority into that view. And when I check back, you'll see now that those have disappeared. I've added that additional priority column to this view. And if I'm a user who wants to focus on that information, maybe some other budget or financial information within the tool, what I can do at this point is save that view as a personal view for myself, maybe even making it the default view. So I'll just call this Doug's view, save it as a personal view, and it'll be available for me and only me when I return back into the application. So as I said earlier, no need to call the PMO, to call IT to make changes to these reports. You can do self-service BI and navigate around within these views very easily. You'll see that within the In It Together release of OnePlan, we also have a number of default views that have been configured if you choose to do the download and do the implementation with the sample data. So here's a financial summary view showing not that summary level, high level status information that we had in that other view, but more detailed information concerning the budgets, the forecast, remaining budget, variance, other details about these plans as they're exposed within OnePlan. And then I could change to another view, such as the schedule summary view, and show you that here, in addition to the standard OnePlan information about the name of the project, the state, some other tabular type details, we're able to show a Gantt chart view and expose that information in a reporting view that shows you a very high level information about the different plans that are available within this solution. So we see here this Gantt chart showing us the different names of those projects, the state of those projects, the Gantt chart representation of the start and finish, and even some milestones for some of those plans that are in detailed scheduling at this point in time within the solution, all visible within this tool. We can also do drag and drop. So within this view, if I wish to take one of these proposed projects, such as this ECHO COVID-19 response plan, I can take that and drag it and move it around within this interface to do rescheduling of the start and end dates on that proposed plan. And of course, if there's actual work underway within that plan, if it's already started, those actual hours will be respected within the solution. So the next view I'd like to show you is a prioritization view within the tool. We're here to respond to this ongoing pandemic with a tool to help you with that whole exercise of rethinking your business, doing reprioritization within the solution to help you with an assessment of what's really going on currently, what proposed projects are maybe being submitted by the business as items that you may wish to consider for business recovery or for response to the pandemic situation, and then rapidly doing a reprioritization of the applications and the projects that are underway. So you'll see in this view that we've configured this to ask some basic business driver related questions about these projects. What's the strategic alignment of this particular plan? Is it going to have an impact on helping us lower cost? Are they going to improve employee retention? What's the risk of this plan? And we've derived a weighted prioritization score. And so by weighted, what I mean by that is we've done a calculation, maybe taking into account the risk score and giving a higher weighting to that value of low, moderate, or strong that we might associate with those plans in calculating that score. So a low risk project will have a higher score, whereas a strong impact on improving employee retention plan will also have a higher prioritization score. Now this is a demonstration environment. When you download the In It Together version, if you choose to include the sample data, you will get these strategic business drivers included with that sample data pack. However, it's very easy to go through the configuration, make changes to these to add additional drivers or to recalculate that prioritization scoring weighting along with any other fields that you have access to within that version to effectively reflect the configuration that you need for your organization the way you're doing prioritization. Now, we've got a sorted view here showing ranking by prioritization. I could click on the ROI column and change that view around, sort it in that fashion. If I go back to that ranked prioritization score, we see the way they've been ranked based on the input to those measures. But what if someone wants to come along and do a manual reprioritization? They don't like the way these numbers line up, and they think, for example, that this ECHO COVID-19 response should be a higher priority, or this COVID-19 pre-screening mobile device, which is a proposed project, needs to rise to the top of the list. Well, the way to do that is we overlay the prioritization field. We see the ranking and the sorting here on the left. And what I can do is I can take that COVID-19 pre-screening mobile device plan and just simply move it up in priority by dragging it up higher in that list. So I've reordered that. And what we've done is retained that calculated prioritization score. We still know that that was a 50 and it should be further down the list. But because we've done that manual reprioritization and moved that up, we're able to respect the organization's goals of addressing that particular program or that particular plan's requirements within this solution. Now we've got other views of information within the tool as well. So we're showing a list view here. If I switch to a board view and show our organizational plans, by stages, organized and classified by goal, you'll see that this particular layout shows columns along the top, showing the business stages: create, select, plan, and manage, and where those various projects are in that process stage. We see that we have them organized by goal. So we have some plans which are associated with customer satisfaction, others that are associated with growing the business, others that might be associated with running the business or even transformation, and the ability to visualize that data in a board-like view so that we can see not only how it's classified and organized, but also right here in the middle, we'll see we also have strings attached to show dependencies. So this enhanced buying experience and this data analysis workshop plan are both linked and interrelated due to that dependency that we've assigned between those two plans. Now we can view the board in lots of different flexible ways. So if I move to, for example, stages by program, here you'll see that we have programs set up such as a COVID-19 business recovery program. So in the lower part of the screen, down here, if I collapse this panel, we'll see those 3 projects that have been proposed that are currently impacting that or currently related to that COVID-19 business recovery. Now, when you do the download of this In It Together version of OnePlan, if you choose to include sample data, you won't get the COVID-19 business recovery categorization within that tool. So let me show you how easy it is to add that once you've done the download. And if you wish to get in and do a further reconfiguration of the solution to meet your needs, all you need to do is navigate into the configuration of the tool. And when you've clicked that configuration button in the top right, that gear, you'll end up in the OnePlan configuration control panel. In the fields area, we see we have a number of fields that are associated with the different plans. So we have created fields in this default In It Together version for goals, priorities, portfolios, and programs. And if I open up this program button and edit the choices within that field, here's where, in addition to goals to achieve world-class customer support, to build out mobile applications, we've configured this for COVID-19 business recovery. So what we're effectively trying to do is to introduce a new selection and a new choice for configuration of these plans that we're tackling with our business recovery approach. So we have 3 plans that are associated there. And I'm showing you that these 3 have been classified as being associated with that COVID-19 planning requirement. Now, if I wanted to, I could take one of those existing plans and associate it with that program as well. All I'd need to do is click on this menu option, say Quick Edit, and on screen, this flyout allows me to say that this particular plan, Support Customers Using Mobile, is actually associated not with world-class customer support, but with COVID-19 business recovery. So as easy as that, I can recategorize that and move it down in that grid into that other area, or directly on screen, we have full drag and drop support. So I can take that particular plan, drag it, and drop it down and make it part of that COVID-19 business recovery program that we're pursuing. So the tool is very flexible to allow you to visualize, reorganize, and edit information directly on screen. Now, maybe your organization thinks of information in a different fashion. And if you're working in an agile organization, maybe you think in terms of PI planning. So if you want to talk program increments, here we have a view where we see the different program increments that we're pursuing, PI 1, 2, 3, and 4. We have the different teams, the Blue Sprint team, the network team, the Byte team, however you name them. These lanes that we're showing along the left are organized by teams. and we're grouping information together in this view by program increment. So again, this is configuration of the solution, easily done through that config menu I showed you a few moments ago to add metadata and methods through which you can categorize these various plans to associate them with teams or with program increments. And maybe you have something in the backlog that you need to consider. So here's this COVID-19 pre-screening mobile approach, this plan that we want to tackle. We want to move that in to an immediate program increment. We want to tackle that right now. And we're going to assign that to the Blue Sprint team. So all I need to do to navigate this COVID-19 response is I simply slide this over to program increment 2, and I take that COVID-19 pre-screening mobile app and I move that right into the Blue Sprint team in PI1. So it's now part of program increment 1. I've freed the Blue Sprint team up by moving that other plan out, and we've done some rapid reorganizing of our approach to work within this organization's key objectives and plans that they're tackling. So finally, I'm going to switch to roadmap views within the solution. And again, if you download the Init Together application with some sample data, the portfolio views, the business unit views will all be included. And you'll see here that we have a couple of portfolios that we're tackling: cloud mobile first, appeal to a younger demographic. We've classified these various work objectives, these plans or projects that we're working on against those portfolios. I might also reorganize this roadmap view to show you by stage, or what sometimes we refer to as a process step. So we have some plans that are being created. Some are going through a selection stage. And remember that portfolio prioritization we can do. So they're in that selection process. We can do planning and managing as we're delivering on those particular plans. So what I'd like to do now is move out of the portfolio planning views and the different ways of visualizing that data. Again, lists, boards, and roadmaps. And let's drill down into the details of actually delivering a work objective or delivering a plan or a project. So within this view, we see we have this support customers using mobile project. I can click on this link to bring it up directly, or I can navigate through to one of the tabs or one of the pages that's available with that support customers using mobile plan. So in this view, you'll see that we have a configured business process flow for this support customers using mobile project. We see create, select, plan, and manage. And if you do it differently in your organization, it's just a simple reconfiguration of those business process flows. On this details page, we've laid out information about this particular plan, general, business case information. Further down, if you're doing prioritization, here's where we're able to gather that information, such as the strategic alignment or the perceived risk of this plan, and derive that prioritization score that we used for the prioritization. And then, of course, further down, we see information concerning the schedule, financials, etc. All of this is just simply a configuration within the tool to lay the information out the way you need it best, or the way that best suits your organization's needs. Now, if we talk about delivery of the work and building out a work plan, I'll now switch to the work planning view and show you the grid view, where we see a complete and comprehensive project plan. If I switch to a planning view and expand the scope phase within this plan, you'll see we have tasks, status, duration, start and finish, and assigned resources to those various tasks within this project plan. And if you look closely, you may also notice that this plan has a little Microsoft project icon associated with it. And it's because this plan has been connected to Microsoft Project Professional. So we include this configuration and connection capability with the Init Together OnePlan version. We don't, of course, license for you Microsoft Project Desktop Online, and you will need to acquire those licenses on your own. But you'll notice quickly, if I open up this plan and navigate through to take a peek at that, here I am with the plan open in Project Desktop. In the background, you see the support customers using mobile plan, the different phases and the tasks, and it's the same plan because we include with this integration a OnePlan add-in for Microsoft Project Desktop Online. So if you're using Project already, or even if you're not, acquire that tool for full and comprehensive scheduling capabilities. And again, it integrates directly with our OnePlan solution, so you can visualize that entire plan within this view, within our OnePlan tool set and this In It Together solution version that we provide for you. Now, finally, as you're delivering on these projects, once you've decided to tackle something and you've built out these work plans, then someone will want to know what the status of this particular project is. So here with the free version, with this In It Together version, we also include our status reporting capability. You'll see on screen that in a similar fashion to the details page, we've organized the status reporting information showing general information, scheduling and financials. A variety of other details about the project could be included, including, for example, work in progress or other details about that. And what we can do is, within this report that we're viewing, is make some final changes to the report before we subsequently export it out and save it as a PDF, or on a scheduled, recurring, regular basis, archive a version of this project's report on a specific date and time. Maybe every week at Monday at noon hour, we're going to save a version of that. So as part of this report, I'm going to say we're back on track because we have that schedule back and running and up to speed. And as part of my accomplishments, I'm just going to rapidly copy, paste, and type in that I've caught up on all my overdue tasks and assignments on this particular plan during this period. And what I can do now is save this out and export that out to a PDF file. So we're doing that. We export that file out. It's now going to be available in a support customers using mobile PDF version. And you'll see here on screen that the layout of that is exactly like we had in that on screen within OnePlan status reporting capability, including the new overall health and schedule health indicators and that small amount of text there describing the accomplishments of that particular plan or this particular amount of work during that period. So once again, when you're delivering those plans, we've got full status reporting, full work planning, and the ability to capture all of the details of those plans within this OnePlan solution interface. Now, we also mentioned Power BI reporting. So from within this My Portfolio view, showing me a portfolio of projects, of course, we can do list, board, and roadmap reporting directly within the tool. But if you're fond of Power BI and if you have that solution within your organization, what I can do is switch to our dashboard view and show you that we have full Power BI reporting capabilities within the tool and include these report packs with OnePlan. So this project's dashboard that we're seeing gives us a high-level view of all of the plans and projects that are being delivered within the organization. If I switch to a health summary view, for example, we'll see a different version of that same information, but with indicators showing overall health, schedule health, financial health, etc. Lots of different ways of examining the data, again, using Microsoft Power BI reporting, as opposed to the out-of-the-box list, board, or roadmap views that we include with our tool. Now, just to wrap up, and before I hand it back over to Jim, I just want to walk you through how to install this OnePlan In It Together version and how straightforward we've made that installation for you. So we'll include the URL to access this, either In It Together or OnePlan Free Overview. Jim will have this in one of the subsequent slides it'll be showing. And we'll also include that in the email that all the attendees and anyone who registered for the webinar will receive. You navigate to that page. Down on the page, as you scroll through the instructions and the details about this, you'll see that here's the instructions on how to install the OnePlan Free Edition, and you navigate through to the Microsoft AppSource webpage in order to do the install. If you've never been to AppSource before, I'd like to compare that just to the Microsoft, to the Apple iStore. If you want to download an app from for your iPhone from Apple, you can get them there. Same thing for Microsoft-based applications. So here's our app source at Microsoft.com and our OnePlan for Portfolio Planning free edition. If I click on free trial, what's going to happen is it's going to bring up some information, and it's going to ask me to confirm that I'm logged in using my corporate credentials. So you'll be logged in using your abccompany.com email address. I say continue, and it's going to take me through to the OnePlan for Portfolio Planning install page. Here, all I need to do is give myself a group name for this. So I'll just call this the webinar version of OnePlan. And of course, you would apply your company name with some sort of indication that it's maybe a OnePlan trial, whatever you need to do to create that group. I'll include some sample data with this so that I get that default configuration with some of those portfolio and program fields as I showed earlier. And I say create the group. Now, creating the group happens fairly quickly. Be aware that this is being installed in the Microsoft Azure cloud. You don't need to call your IT department to install it. You can get it up and running very quickly and connect through to it because we're not storing any data on your servers. You can use this tool directly stored in the Azure cloud and associated with your organizational credentials that you've provided. So I give myself a name. I give myself a company here, Wicresoft, maybe some email address and a phone number, 123-456, whatever it needs to be. And in the comments page or in the comments pane, I need to put in it together. And that's going to help us identify you as one of the organizations that has selected this free in it together OnePlan version. So I do my registration. And this registration will complete. At this point in time, I'll be taken through to my new OnePlan in it together version of this solution. So this will load fairly quickly. It's been provisioned already. It's up and running. The demo data is there. And I'll take you through and show you what this looks like in a few moments. But I'll just also provide you this trick that if you click on the Buy Now button, paste in it together right here, submit that request, you'll say okay. And then if I go back to my OnePlan version, this 7-day trial information screen will disappear once we've registered you as part of the In It Together program. I click on Continue. I click on the Portfolio Plan view, and this should look very familiar to you. Same set of sample projects, similar configuration and layout, list views, board views, roadmap views. You get essentially what we were walking you through during this webinar. And if you look carefully at the top, that webinar version, that's the name that I assigned to this OnePlan group. So that allows you to very quickly get through that OnePlan free overview trial sign-up, provide a minimal amount of information back to us for that registration, including that In It Together comment. That will enable us to extend your free trial version out till the end of 2020 and get you up and running quickly with an In It Together version to help you with your business reprioritization. So with that, I'm ready to turn it back over to Jim. Jim, if you want to take over as presenter, you're good to go.
Will do. Thank you, Doug, for a great demonstration and for the detailed instructions on how to get started. So just in summary and wrap up on what we've gone through so far, a little bit about us. OnePlan is being provided to you, and this offer is being sponsored by Wicresoft with our OnePlan solution. if any idea who we are, if you don't know, we were founded in 2002 as a joint venture with Microsoft. So we're not only technology partners with Microsoft, we're also business partners. We were actually named their worldwide PPM Partner of the Year in 2019 at the last go-round of this being done. We have multiple gold certifications, so we have the capabilities and the expertise to do that, and we have a global footprint as well as partnerships in other areas around the world. So we're here to help you if you decide to do so. Doug went through the installation process already, but this slide deck will be in here, and you'll get a copy of this so that you'll get a highlight on this on where to go from a URL perspective, and then making sure you go to the right place in the app source to take advantage of this free offer, and you get started today. So as far as resources and support, you know, hopefully support is minimal because there's a pre-configured solution. It is a cloud-based solution that requires no infrastructure on your part. It does tie in with your Office 365 credentials, but you know it is because it is built for the Microsoft Office 365 and Power Platform for Microsoft. But in that area, when you first come in, there's online documentation, there's videos, and you can contact us to answer your questions if you like, and I'll give you some information about that as well. But this is a free offer. There's no cost or obligation for other products or services here. What you see there is yours to use for the end of the year without any other cost or obligation. So we are truly in it together. We're here to help if we can. We thank you for your interest. We do webinars like this all the time. We have on-demand and upcoming webinars at oneplan.ai/webinars. And if you want to reach out for some questions and such, you can reach out at contact@oneplan.ai to get those registered and responded to. So with that, hopefully that we can be of service to you. We think that many will get value out of the capabilities that are there today and available at no charge. And we hope to engage with you somewhere down the road. Thank you for your time today.